Hey, how you doing? My name is Emilio. We're going to be showing you how to build a home lab. Now this is a bit more of a corporate-y, enterprisey sort of a home lab. So we've actually got some more enterprise grade servers and storage. You can even use some old desktops, some old laptops, even an old switch that you may have to actually set up a lab at home and then go and build all the equipment that you need. Go and configure VMware, build Windows Server, build Linux servers, etc. But for very, very cheap, you can go online, check out eBay, check other selling sites online, wherever you may live, and you can pick up stuff like this very, very cheap, being a server rack or a network comms cabinet, and then some cheap equipment right here. This particular one is an 18 RU server cabinet, which essentially is the dimensions inside, the amount of rack units you can actually install inside of the unit. Now this particular server cabinet, the rack itself, I picked up very, very cheap online, secondhand, but I like to have something like this that allows me to actually go and install the server equipment and the network switches and things like that we could set up in a lab environment. One that I've seen very, very popular is called a lac rack, which is essentially some lac tables that you can buy from IKEA, very, very cheap, and the dimensions just fit just right with servers and network switches and routers, etc. So you can do one of those. So we're going to be getting all of these set up in here. We're going to be getting them cabled, network cables. We're going to be making sure that they're set up correctly with power as well. And then all of that is going to be racked within this particular rack. This, excluding the NAS itself, all of this stuff cost me just over $100 Australian. Give or take will be just under that in US. So it was very, very cheap to pick up really 3 servers and a couple of network switches, both of these being gigabit switches, which just makes it even better. But you can pick up some really cheap Cisco switches, even the older 2950s and 2960s, really, really cheap. You could probably pick them up for about $10, $15, $20 on eBay, very, very cheap. And then you got some earlier servers as well. And the great thing with having something like this is you're actually using enterprise equipment. Of course, if you set up your own smaller home lab, you're not going to have server grade equipment or enterprise grade equipment. While this, even though they are older servers, they can still run things such as VMware's ESXi, they can still run Linux, they can still run Windows Server, and you can play and build all of this within a lab environment. At the very bottom, here we've got a Synology NAS. This is an older NAS. This is an RS2212 Plus. And as you can see right from the front, you've got slots here to actually install hard drives. So you can just pull these out. These are just standard trays. You can then go and screw a hard drive into here. Goes right back into there. And then once you log into this particular Synology NAS, you can go and configure different sorts of RAID groups and different sorts of configurations there around storage pools. And then you can essentially get your devices on your network to use the storage on here. Now, if you do want to know more about a NAS or a SAN, you can check out one of my other videos right at the top there, where I go into a little bit more detail around the differences between a SAN and a NAS. There are 3 1RU servers, of course, RU being the rack unit. So this is essentially a 1 rack. All right, this is 1 RU. If you've got 2 of them, then that's a 2 RU, and that's a 3 RU, etc. And of course, servers can come in a wide range of sizes. These particular ones are rack-based servers, which means that they are longer. A blade server could be like half of this, and then you've got tower servers, which sort of look more like your traditional PCs, but just a little bit larger. So this one, as I said, are 1 RU units, and these are 3 different Dells. Some of these are pretty old. But again, you can pick these up really, really cheap online, which makes it very, very good to be able to go and build something in a lab environment. Each of these 3 have got Xeon processors, which are pretty common within server products for the Intel range anyway. This particular one has 2.5 inch hard drives. Well, the top ones are more built into the unit, so you'd have to actually open these up to actually get access to the actual top of these particular units. And then there's a couple of gigabit switches, one being Cisco and the other one being Netgear. And of course, what we're going to do is we're going to cable all of these 3 units up, the 3 servers as well as the NAS, to actually then connect over to our switches and then create our network. So here we got a little bit more of a detailed view of what our server rack looks like. Now this particular one is going to be used to actually rack the equipment that I've got, the SAN as well as the servers and our switches. And we're just going to be just putting that stuff into here. Some things will be railed, so some things will actually have the rails and clip into these. 3 of these make up a 1 RU unit. 6 of these make up a 2 RU. And on the bottom, we've also got a tray here. So all of our equipment has been racked. Of course, we've got the servers and the storage and the switches, and then our old equipment, our old desktop. We've got one of our old routers, another router at the very top, and I want that one at the top because that's going to be my second Wi-Fi network, essentially another Wi-Fi network for my lab environment. Of course, if you have the router inside of here, the Wi-Fi router, then the antenna, the signal goes out and it's hitting the metal frame of the rack, and you can have some signal issues and signal degradation. So this is now ready to go. So the next step now is to go to the back of the rack itself, to cable it all up, to power it all up, and then we can start to use this equipment. We've got our dual powers, we've got our multiple Ethernet connections into each of the devices so that we can easily set all this up within our environment. Now we are going to be using these all within a virtualization setup. So we're going to be running things such as VMware's ESXi onto these. And then down the very bottom, we've got our power board that is just running into a standard power board. Now, of course, if you're doing this in a lab demo test environment, you can use something like this standard power board that I've picked up. But I would recommend, if you're doing this for production, if you're doing this in a business, if you're going to be running your lab for long periods of time, you can actually get power rails that actually, set up into the actual left and to the right of the rack itself. They're called PDUs as well, to actually have something that is a little bit more sturdy. So front of the unit, ready to go. Here we go. We've got a couple of our switches right here. You'll see that they're nicely cable tied. We've got our Cisco, then with our netgear on the top, and we've got some cables on the left-hand side, some cables on the right-hand side. And the reason I like to do that is just to make it a little bit neater, so that when I am cable tying. But in some cases, you may want to do this intentionally because, for example, you could have these ports on this Cisco switch be on one particular VLAN to be able to access a specific service, for example, and then the ports on the right could be accessing something different. So what you can find, what is common, and if you want to set this up yourself, is you could have, say, all these ports will be all of your desktops and your laptops out in a business, for example, and then your devices on your right could be your servers, for example. So you could actually have them split across the two. So we're going to be doing that when we are setting this up, but we've also just done this just so that it's a little bit neater, so that all the devices that have got Ethernet and things on the right-hand side are all being routed through the back. They're all actually tied together to make it neat. And then on the right-hand side of these switches, and then on the left-hand side, if there's any Ethernet on that side, as well as the desktop right here, they're all running into the left-hand side of the switch right there. And the reason I've got the 2 switches is I don't need 2 switches. And of course, you can see that there's one switch right here, and that will be enough because I can actually have everything running into that. But the reason we've got 2 is for high availability and also for redundancy, so that, for example, I've got my Ethernet ports. So I've got, for example, this server right here. I've got 3 Ethernet cards in it, and they're not all 3 are running into this one switch, because if I lose that switch, then I lose all connection into that server. So I've got it split, where I've got a couple running into here, and then I've also got one running into here. And of course, in a perfect world, you would always have your ports split. So if you had 6 or 8 Ethernet ports, let's say you had 8 Ethernet ports on a server, you would run 4 of them into one switch and 4 into another switch. And that's always good practice when you are setting up your environment. What you'll see right here is a yellow cable. This is still a standard cable, but this is now connected into my other lab. So it makes it very, very easy to be able to mix and match my 2 labs together and make sure that they are connected. So in my place, I've actually got cabling behind the walls between the different rooms, so I can easily connect one through to the other. And I've made it yellow so that I'm very, very clear that this is the uplink cable that is connecting my 2 subnets together, essentially. So let me give you a brief overview. Everything is now racked, it's powered on, it looks really, really cool. Let's talk about what we're setting up on these units. Now, what we're gonna be doing is the 3 servers that we're seeing, so the 3 Dell servers, they're going to be installed with something called VMware's ESXi, which is essentially a virtualization technology to actually convert these servers into virtualization hosts so that we can actually install multiple virtual machines onto them. That's something that is pretty common nowadays in businesses. You don't have physical servers, one per function. You have virtual machines, which essentially allows one physical computer to one physical server to be able to run multiple virtual machines. Now, the unit down the bottom being our Synology NAS is a storage unit, and that is where all of my virtual machines are sitting. All the data, all the VMs sit on that. It's connected onto the network, and those 3 servers are just using the CPU and the RAM and the resources, but the storage is actually sitting on that Synology NAS. We can then build a whole bunch of VMs. So we're going to build ourselves a number of Windows servers, Linux servers, domain controller, DNS, DHCP, file server, web server, a few other things, including a LAMP server, which is a Linux type of environment. So there's a whole range more. Top of my rack, here is the top of my rack. I've actually mounted a monitor arm so that I've actually got a monitor always connected to the front of the rack. It just makes it a bit easier when you do actually have a screen available that you can easily just run into any of the servers, into anything that's in here, and actually control this stuff right from the front of the unit as well. Please do let me know in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up as well on that video, would really appreciate it. And as always, please remember to subscribe, clicking on the button and on the bell, and do check out some of my other videos if you want to learn more things about all things tech.